Does your child throw temper tantrums while you're right in the middle of your weekly shopping? When you're in a public place, or when you're cooking a meal or trying to get everybody out of the house in the early morning rush? Is bedtime a nightmare situation of screaming and shouting and power plays? Does your teenager slam the door shut in your face, or stomp out into the street and call you horrible names, or give you lip? Do you feel a bit depressed, thinking to yourself that you must be a bad parent? Or do you feel embarrassed, angry, or frustrated when this happens? Are you at your wit's end? Do you feel in need of some coaching about how to handle tantrums that your kids throw? Would you like to find out how to calm your child down and how to find the peace and happiness that you're looking for? You are about to discover why programs like Super Nanny work only on TV, or why books like Toddler Taming leave you with a worse situation than you had before. The methods used in both these approaches set up a power dynamic between parents and their kids, a kind of us and them situation, which is detrimental to real closeness. There's a great difference between authoritative or empowered parenting and authoritarian or power-oriented parenting. Authoritative or empowered parenting is where you learn to wield your authority as a parent with kindness and dignity and with profound respect for the identity and value of your child. Authoritarian or power-oriented parenting is where the parent exerts their power to impose their will and their agenda upon their child. So, for example, Super Nanny techniques often advise that it's important to establish regular routines like breakfast, lunch, dinner, nap, and playtimes. This establishment of routine just means that your child will not be able to learn the essential skills of being flexible. It thus becomes more rather than less likely that they will throw tantrums if and when their routines are disrupted. It's not that routines are unimportant, but rigidly developed routines are indeed a hotbed for temper tantrums when real life takes over. Flexibility is key, and if we learn to train flexibility into our children, there will be no more temper tantrums. Another example is the view that toddlers are little animals that need to be tamed. According to this view, their spirits or wills need to be broken, just like you would tame a horse or train a dog. The reality is that dogs and horses are domesticated for practical purposes like farming, horse racing, or for company. The power differential between horses and dogs and human beings is probably legitimate. Children, on the other hand, are not little animals. They are little humans with a spirit and a soul and a unique identity that needs to be respected. If you treat them as such, there will be no more temper tantrums. Another thing about Super Nanny and toddler taming techniques is that they often advise letting a child cry themselves to sleep at night in a bed all by themselves in a room that is designated the kids' room or nursery. This is a guaranteed way of producing tantrums, not preventing them. If we use an authoritative or empowered parenting style and not a power-oriented dynamic that says to break their wills or tame our toddlers, we will make sleeping at night a pleasure rather than a pain, and there will be no more tantrums. You're about to discover 7 simple steps that will unfailingly help you to deal with temper tantrums in your kids and in your teens. You will soon be able to shed all that scolding and threatening and bargaining and become much more empowered and authoritative as a parent. You will begin to think of yourself in more compassionate terms. You will begin to treat yourself as you deserve to be treated, as a mum or a dad who is doing their very best to raise decent kids. Soon you will find that you're experiencing more peace. You will even find that you have more relaxation and a better quality of sleep when you know how to deal with your temper tantrums in your children. So, who am I? My name is Dr. Nimi Hutnik. I'm a chartered counseling psychologist and a cognitive behaviour therapist. I have a doctorate in psychology from Oxford University, and I've been teaching at university level for over 20 years. I've taught child development, social psychology, counseling. I've written for parenting magazines in the past. I'm also a parent, a very proud one, of 2 lovely young women who are now 24 and 20. I've lived in Britain, America, Canada, India, Singapore, China, and have either taught or studied in these countries, so I know lots about bringing up children in different cultures. At the moment, I live and work in Britain. I'd like to introduce you to my coaching course called Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide. If you search the whole of the internet, you will not come across a single book or course that deals exclusively with temper tantrums in kids and young people in such depth. There are lots of freebies out there, sure, giving you single-page tips on how to go about dealing with temper tantrums. But hey, we all know that life is much more complex than that. This is the first ever book of its kind to be sold to parents on the net looking for lasting help that works with their kids. It contains more than 115 pages of information and fun activities that you can do by yourself or with your kids. These activities are in the form of questionnaires and exercises and are designed to produce deep and lasting insight and change. To put it another way, your current approach is why you don't get it right more often than you do get it right. It's why you're also still nervous and anxiety-laden, or angry or embarrassed or depressed when you're dealing with temper tantrums in your kids. And it's why you're sometimes ready to throw in the towel and retreat under your quilt or duvet and weep your eyes out because the thoughts in your head tell you, I'm a bad mum or I'm a bad dad. So here is Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide. I'd like to give you some information about it. First of all, it contains 7 modules. The first module is about understanding temper tantrums. And in this module, you will develop a baseline which is measured through questionnaires for how to assess your child's strengths and difficulties. In it, you will also understand how you react when your child throws a temper tantrum. In Module 2, we'll look at how your behavior as a parent might affect your child. We will be looking at your current parenting styles, and we will be thinking about how you can do things differently if you need to change your style. In Module 3, we will be looking at the psychology of anger. Now, this gives you a really important and deep understanding of why temper tantrums occur and what needs to develop in the brain of your child as they're learning not to throw temper tantrums. It will also tell you how you can help them develop these cognitive structures. In Module 4, you will learn how you can help yourself. This is all about doing good things for yourself so that you aren't constantly stressed. It's a great module, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. In Module 5, it's about how you can actually help your child when they're throwing a temper tantrum. This is where I talk about my BEST VAC system. BEST VAC stands for Boundary Establishment, looking out for signs, time out, for validating, attuning, containing, and soothing your child. And it's a great system for giving you the best vacations ever. In Module 6, we will look at handling tantrums in teenagers. Now, this is not an exhaustive guide on how to deal with teenagers because, as we all know, teenagers are quite complex. But it is a good foundation and it's a great starting place. In Module 7, we will review and evaluate what we've done together. We go back to your baseline questionnaires that you talked about in Module 1, and this is quite an interesting module because you will see how much you have improved. Most parents tell me that they've been quite successful beyond their greatest dreams. Now let's think about some prices. First of all, the course is available in printable and downloadable format. That means that as you're reading this, you could be actually downloading it now. Never mind that it's 2 o'clock in the morning. The prices you can see for this are on your screen. It's also available in audio format. Now, the audio comes as an MP3 that you can download onto your computer or onto your mobile phone. But if you buy both of them together, well, you get a 42% discount. Now, that's a real saving, and the prices are on your screen. And if that's not enough, well, I've created a webinar, a parents webinar, where I will talk you through Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide. You can ask questions of me and of other people that I might invite onto the webinar. Just to explain, a webinar is a kind of seminar where parents all over the world clock into their computers at a predetermined time, and we're all together in a kind of virtual group, and you can ask me questions. Now, if that's not enough, I've got 2 free bonuses for you. The first bonus is an audio MP3 which talks about how to deal with tantrums at bedtime. Now, this is an interview that Nick Chantrasak did with me, and I talk about my philosophy of bedtime handling. Now, in The second bonus is an MP3 recorded with a very well-known psychotherapist in England called Juliet Verney. Juliet talks about how she dealt with temper tantrums when her kids were growing up as teenagers. So, what will you get in Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide? First of all, at the end of the course, you will know how to deal confidently with temper tantrums. You will master my best facts system so that the number and intensity of temper tantrums dramatically decreases. You will learn the language that you need to effectively deal with your kids' tantrums. You will learn how your behavior as a parent affects your child and how to change your parenting style so that it's more empowered. You will learn important techniques as to how to help yourself. And if you have a teenager, well, there's material here for you too. Now, at the end of the course, when you send us back the feedback form, there is a mysterious free gift waiting for you. I guarantee you that this free gift will increase your level of health, happiness, and well-being. So, do you want the best ever vacation from temper tantrums? Would you like a time like this? You know what you need to do. Scroll to the end of the page and choose which form of Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide, you want for yourself. Buy the course in print form, which is an immediate download, and you can print it out from your computer. Buy the course in audio MP3 format, or buy both at a 42% discount. I'd like to read to you what Rob Zappone, father of a 10-year-old, said about Tantrum Therapy, the Essential Guide. Hi, Dr. Hutnick. Thanks for taking the time to write such a great book. I particularly like the chapter on page 22 titled Frustration Leads to Temper Tantrums and can relate to it as for when I was a child. The 7 modules spaced out over 7 weeks is a great way to manage and implement the fundamentals of the book. And the fact that the course is a self-help manual which is for parents dealing with children with mild to moderate problems with tantrums is what I want as a parent, instead of being lectured to by someone I just don't trust. Once again, thank you, Dr. Hutnick, for invaluable information. Now, if that's not enough, I'm willing to give you a guarantee, 100% satisfaction guarantee, over 60 days. So this is completely risk-free for you. If you follow my system and your child's tantrums have not dramatically improved or gone away completely, then tell me and I will refund your money. I don't want to keep your money if you are not satisfied 100%. So how will tomorrow be different than today? Well, it won't unless you start doing something different. So scroll down to the end of the page and choose the format that you want and buy Tantrum Therapy.